What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kyle Pansis. If it's your first time tuning in, please be sure to smash that subscribe button. If not, thanks for your continued support. Today we are in my 2011 Saab 9.5, the new gen. I haven't done a video on this in a while, so I figured it was a good time to throw this in the mix while we can. The car has been running really well. Still fighting a tire light. I had the tire light turned off. We replaced 2 sensors, and then within like 3 days it came back on and another sensor went. So I still have it on, but obviously it's not a tire issue, it's just another sensor. So gonna get around to fixing that again, just haven't gotten there yet, but the car is running good. Today we're just doing some regular maintenance. In fact, I haven't really seen a video on what we're about to do, so I think I'm going to title the video in a particular way so more people can see it online. This engine is a 2.0 turbo engine that GM put in this car, and they also used it in many other Opel models, but also the Buick Regal that they started making in the 2011, 12, 13, 14. They threw this motor in there. So this engine obviously used in other manufactured cars by GM. So we're going to do a serpentine belt replacement with a tensioner today, as well as spark plugs, because we have 113,000 miles on this car, and I'm not sure if those items have ever been done, at least to my knowledge. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I think the belt looks like it's been on there for some time, and with the miles I figured just do the belt and the tensioner, just some regular maintenance stuff. And it, you know, sometimes when the engine's cold under idle, like, it makes a little bit of a noise. So I think that could be what's causing it, just a new tensioner. So we're gonna do that, and then the spark plugs, just for the sense of doing it. Those usually can go, you know, many thousands of miles, but for regular maintenance it's good to just change for a few bucks. So let's hop into it. I hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna do is just the spark plugs. It's pretty straightforward. Let's see, the engine's kind of hot still, but we'll work around it. Straightforward, just remove these clips, and then you got 10mm bolts holding down the coil packs, and then pull out the spark plugs. So let's hop into it. Pretty easy. Alright, so I always knew this was a good exercise. I always knew that this engine had been fairly well maintained, just based on the history of the oil changes. But here is the spark plugs. They look pretty decent. I mean, obviously they got some miles on them, but they don't look terrible. I've seen way worse. So here's the new ones. I got brand new NGKs. It looks like they use the iridium. So that's what this is. So I'm gonna put some anti-seize on the new ones and put this back together. We'll move on to the belt. You guys can see the belt has definitely got some age, so it'll be good to change it. Alright, so next up is the serpentine belt. From what I understand, just by looking at this passenger side engine mount, I don't need to remove that like the old ones. So I think I just have to remove this front wheel, inner fender, and I should be able to see everything that's going on in there. So before I start taking the belt and all that, let's get that done. Alright, so this is a good time to check your front brakes if you need to. Ours are pretty good, but I am going to replace the front rotors at some point and the pads, just since I think from when this car was sitting on auction last year for so long, there's some like rust spots from the temperature changes. But anyways, long story short here, I got this taken apart, and we've been noticing with high speeds of driving and wind that we've been getting like a clicking noise inside. I think this is it, because we're missing a clip here, and we're missing a clip up top here. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace those once we reassemble this, but looks like somebody forgot to reinstall it prior to me. So anyways, these looks like they're all push clips. Some sort of GM crap. Anyways, Let me wrestle this off here with my other hand and take this down. Alright guys, so here it is, the inside. You can see where I wired my fog light into my front camera mount there, nice and clean. But here we go, we got the crank and the tensioner, which is right here. So I'm going to work on getting that out. So let's see. No, that's just a pulley there actually. I take that back. Let me see where the tensioner is here. Hold on. All right, so the pulley tensioner is right here, and there's a 13mm bolt, it looks like, that's holding it in. Hopefully you guys can see that in the camera there. It's pretty much like right where my finger's pointing there. You'll see it. Not the easiest, most convenient, but shouldn't be too hard to get to. So now I can actually see what's going on. We have the crank that goes across to the front, up to this alternator, down to that pulley, power steering to the tensioner, and then the tensioner back around the crank. That's how that works. And if you guys look right where I'm pointing here on camera, where I'm pointing is the tensioner, and there's a 1/4 inch drive socket that goes in there to pull that. So I think this should do it if I can get in there. Nope. That's always good. Very interesting how they do things. Alright, poor design as per usual for GM, but I pushed up on the tensioner here with this pry bar. Was able to push that up enough to release the belt. So we did from the crank, and the bolt that's holding on the tensioner is a 15mm socket. So I'm gonna work on a wrench now to pull that off. Not so easy, guys. Alright, so after further review, I'm gonna have to eat my words. We are going to have to remove the we're gonna have to release the engine off this engine mount over here. It looks like I'm gonna have to remove the box. So you're gonna remove the air box, and then you have bolts over here that should hopefully get to it, and then you can lower the engine down a couple inches, 2 inches or so, in order to get clear access to everything down there. So let me do that. Alright guys, so once you have this all situated like this, kind of out of the way, move some of these hoses, and then you have 3 15mm bolts that are securing the engine to the mount. So I'm going to release it. Before I release it, I'm going to put a block of wood in between the jack and the engine and hold it up. Alright guys, I got it. Not a fun spot to put this, but we're in. Let's see if we go the other side, maybe that helps. Once it's broke loose, you can just what a spot to put this. Pretty freaking crazy, guys. Let's see if I have a socket. There it is, guys. So guys, here it is. You can see how the new one is much tighter than the old one. So even though this thing isn't cracking per se that much, it is definitely stretched out and used. So replacing it with this is going to help us definitely quiet down some of the rattles on putting it in drive at idle. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and reinstall this, and I'll keep you guys. All right, quick update for you guys. So I actually started by putting the tensioner on. It's not on there fully, but I have the belt all in place except for this pulley right here. So I'm leaving this pulley for last, but I have everything in place. So I'm gonna tighten down the tensioner now, and then I'm gonna push up on the tensioner to release its tension, and then just pull the belt down over this pulley here, and everything should be right where it needs to be, because I have everything up on top done. You can see where it's hanging out. So I need to pull this down here over that one pulley, which I can't do until I pull up the tensioner, but I have to secure it completely first. So pretty straightforward, a little patience, hard areas to work through, not as open. It's very congested, obviously, but not that hard. All right, guys, I didn't film the end, but I've got the belt back on and put it all back together here. So I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna put some fresh windshield wipers on her, and then I'll give you guys a start up. All right, there it is. Hell yeah, guys. Fresh spark plugs, fresh belt tensioner and belt, fresh windshield wipers. Hell yeah. Nice. All right, guys, so driving home, and I can tell you that the car runs so much better with all this done. There's less extra noises going on, like at idle when I'm driving, or when I'm idling at park, and also when I go to accelerate at the light. There used to be like a little bit of a, kickback in the belt, from that tensioner being old, whatever extra noises it was making. It's like much smoother and quieter, the car, so that's pretty cool. And also, on a side note, since we went into the wheel well there was always some plastic noises bouncing around at high speeds, and also if there's like a lot of wind, and that's because all of the plastic fasteners that hold the wheel well on were all missing except for one. So of course I went in there and replaced all of those with fresh ones, and now when I drive 60 miles an hour plus, I'm no longer hearing all that extra noise in the cabin here. So great maintenance update for you on the 9.5 here, new gen. This thing is freaking sweet, and as you guys can see, that that tire light comes and goes, so we'll have to get that addressed eventually here. So stay tuned, guys, for the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this, and of course follow me at Kyle Pansis on Instagram. You guys can always reach out to me direct. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.